girls. Today, we're going to introduce you to Cheryl Altany, who is the Global Strategy Head for Education, STEM, and Campuses at Carrier. Carrier is a huge company that you may have heard of because of their products. Some of you might have a Carrier air conditioner at your own house. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us, Cheryl. We are very excited for you to speak with us about technology because technology is so important to any career we might want to pursue. Cheryl, you have a very interesting position at Carrier, but before we get into what you do, I want to ask you a question about your company. Can you give us some examples of how Carrier's technology helps people live healthier lives and just be safe?
First, I want to thank you and everyone. I am so excited to be here with the GLAM girls. We have many solutions at Carrier to make buildings that we live in safer, more comfortable, healthier. In air conditioning, for example, you all put in all kinds of filters at home to take out particles in the air. I'm sure you or your parents have done that. And that's just one of the things that creates the healthy environment. Our company is named after Willis Carrier, and who founded modern air conditioning in 1902. That was way before even I was born. So we make fire alarms, lots of really cool technology. You see every day in buildings, whether it's your school or buildings you shop in or go out to eat. Think of locks, remote locks, all of those fire alarms you hear, and so much more.
That is so interesting. I want to ask you now about your role at the company. You're in charge of the education strategy. Does that mean that you work with schools or colleges? What does that mean?
I have a great fun job. I work with schools just like all the GLAM girls attend to bring new technology, not necessarily information technology like you think of with your cell phones or computers or smart televisions, but other kinds of technologies, as well as working with colleges and universities all over the world. The building behind me, I'll go like this and then like that, is actually our headquarters, and that's where I work. We bring regular technology like air conditioners, fire alarms, and locks, like I said before, but we're also doing new digital technologies that could help you move through buildings using your mobile phone rather than keys and badges. In this building, we turn lights off and on, we get through turnstiles, we call elevators, all from our cell phone.
Wow, that is so cool. So if any of you girls watching this would like to work with future technology, invent new ways of helping the environment where you live, or work in education, you could be like Cheryl and work with education at a big, exciting company. Cheryl, I'm curious, have you always been interested in technology?
Yes, I've always been really curious and always ask why and why not a lot, much to the dismay of my family and friends. But I learned to love technology as a child. My father was a Purdue University graduate, which is a great engineering school in Indiana. And actually, when I was in Indiana, we lived there for a while in the 8th grade, my friend and I won the science fair, and we got to go to Notre Dame and meet with all the 7th to 9th graders who had won their science fairs. So, from an early time, we were just curious. But when I was really young, my dad decided to take a car engine apart of a 1957 Chevrolet that wouldn't work. And so I helped him. We took it all apart. We figured out what they were. I cleaned them because I hate grease. I'm not like a dirty person. So I cleaned them all. We figured out first what they were. And then did we need new ones or not? We put it all back together. Now this took like 7 months. This was not overnight. And we put it all back together, and my dad let me get in the car and turn the key, and it actually worked. I was like yelping because I was so excited that I had helped build this car that worked. So I was hooked on technologies and then fell into computers later when I started in education, but then went into computers because I just like to ask why and get new ways of doing things.
Wow, Cheryl, these are incredible stories. I'm curious, what advice do you wish that you had growing up?
That's a hard one. As my family, being Italian, was always full of advice for everybody, especially because I was the youngest one in the family. They were really encouraging and supporting with high expectations, full of hugs and kisses. But I think there's two things that I wish I had known earlier. First, I know it's really, really hard to not pay attention to your peers growing up, but to be true to yourself and your own interests and values and always tell the truth. It's really difficult to be different. If you find someone you like, who does what you like, ask them to mentor you. I was really lucky, and I found adults or teenagers that did things I like to do, and they showed me how to do it better. So when you get through those hard times and when you're feeling really lonely or a bit different, that really helps. And it's also okay to be different. Sometimes that's what makes the difference. All of the leaders, when you think of Apple, the founder of Apple was different. The founder of Microsoft was different. They think differently. So it's a good thing. Secondly, start saving money now. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but that's not the second one. Seriously, follow your heart with your head and look for the best in people. You've got to love what you do. I love what I do. You've got to challenge yourself every day and learn something. Education is so important to broaden your perspective, but it's not, I'm just not talking about, you go to school and then you go to high school and then you go to college. I'm thinking about all kinds of education, educating yourself, whether it's a vocational school, online learning, travel, but learn something new every day because it keeps you and life so interesting. And travel. You want to meet new people, taste new foods, see new different cultures. I've been really lucky. I'm a girl from a small town in Western Pennsylvania that we're an immigrant family, and I've lived in 4 countries and traveled to 78 with my work.
That is so interesting. Okay, we have time for one more question before we go. What skill do you think is the most important for doing your job? And would you consider that to be your superpower?
Oh, that's a good question. I was told once by a mentor that you can teach people almost anything, but you cannot teach people to care. And you really have to work hard to teach people to listen. In my job, I try to solve customers' problems, and that could be building buildings, putting in software, communicating, all kinds of problems. But I listen to them, and then we really work to find out solutions we can provide or other solutions we can't. I have lots of education experience, but what makes me really different? I kept going back to school for different degrees while I worked and raised 2 kids. I think that was part of that natural curiosity. But my superpower, besides not needing much sleep, what I would say is connecting the dots. Just like in the game, I see ways of connecting technologies, people, and solutions just a bit differently. So we can come up with new ways of doing things, which sometimes work out really well and sometimes they don't. And that's okay, because you learn when things don't work, just like you learn when they do. I mean, I was one of those girls, I am one of those girls that saw everything differently, but hold on to that. It really has made my life very interesting.
Thank you so much for meeting with us, Cheryl. GLAM Girls, I hope you see how important technology is and that there are lots of opportunities out there for you to use your special skills and pursue your interests. Thank you for watching, and feel free to come back at any time and rewatch the videos and see other cool stuff. Bye.